Quale delle due è bella?
Questa
Qual è quella bella? Qual è quella brutta? E qual è quella buona? Quale è cattiva? Qual è buona?
lei,
Perché è buona?
perché ha gli occhi celesti,
Quale è cattiva? Perché è cattiva?
perché è tutto nero.
E qual è la bambola che ti somiglia di più?
Hello guys, welcome to Let's Grow Together. My name is David Bisimo Murabazi. On this channel, we share topics related to personal growth, cultural growth, as well as business related topics. So if there's something that interests you, then you can be certain that you're on the right channel. So I know it has been a while since I made a video. Guys, I've been extremely busy, especially with school and other school related activities. I even had to move from my previous location to a new location now. So, and as you know, I'm doing my last share of my studies. So it's quite busy, especially with my industry. But of course, I'm trying to buy outside time so that I can make 1 or 2 videos for you whenever I have time. So try to be a bit understanding in that aspect. But my apologies for the long delay and the long waiting time. Okay. Anyways, today I'd like to finish with the topic of inferiority complex because I made the first part of the video, which can be seen or accessed through the link up there or the one up there. Okay, I'm gonna put the link in one of those two areas. Okay, so try to check it out if you really want to understand the context of this video. But of course, by watching the video that was in the introduction of this video, I think you already have an idea of what it refers to. Basically, an inferiority complex is the feeling of you as a person, you feel inadequate or inferior in comparison to others. It could be because you feel mentally or physically inferior to the person. Okay, and that creates that feeling of inferiority complex. Okay, now there are multiple signs that can help you diagnose whether you have these or not. And why is it important to know whether you have to identify these signs? Is basically will allow you this will allow you to know where you need to touch, okay, in order to heal from that. All right, so without wasting time, we're going to dive deep into the topic. But before doing that, I'm going to kindly ask you to like this video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and activate the notification bell to not miss out any of our upcoming videos. All right, so if you've done that, then let's dive into it. So the first sign of inferiority complex is the feeling of being ashamed of your origins and your nature. So in this case, I'm going to focus more on the skin color and the skin complexion. Okay, this is something that is very common among people from my community. Okay, I've personally encountered situations whereby, because as you can see, I'm a dark skinned guy, okay, and I've encountered a situation whereby there's some people from my community who come to me and they're like, wow, my guy, you're extremely dark skinned, and he start laughing or she start laughing, and it makes me laugh because basically in most cases these are people who are not aware of their origins. Okay, basically in these people's mind, in most cases, in the majority of cases, to be honest, because somebody normal wouldn't feel that way, is the fact that they think that somebody who's lighter, okay, who has a light skin, basically is superior or more attractive in comparison to the person with a darker skin. We also see it in different other communities rather than African communities. For instance, in India, there's something which is practiced even up to today, and this is an inferiority complex, okay? So I personally believe that among people from my community, for instance, this is due to the past colonial situation or history that we had. During the colonialism, we were colonized by Caucasian people, right? And it got to a point since the masters were having sexual intercourses with some of the slaves, forced ones, of course. Yeah, they'll give birth to mixed kid, and basically these mixed kid were treated a little bit better compared to other slaves' kids. Okay, and that created that feeling of inferiority complex or superiority complex, if I should say so, among those mixed kids, okay, because they felt a bit superior in comparison to the normal slaves, okay, the black people in that case, okay. And from there on, actually, the Africans, because I'm talking about them specifically, uh, started a competition whereby they needed to become lighter. Okay, and that's why you see even up to today, some people are taking some chemicals, some medicines to lighten their skins. And why that? Because they believe that by looking a bit like their master, by looking lighter, that makes them closer to their master, making them superior in comparison to others. Okay, so basically, if it happens that you feel that you being lighter or darker skin makes you less attractive or less important in comparison to those who are lighter or darker skin, that's already a sign of inferiority complex, and it means that you really need to question yourself and work on that. Okay. Cases. The second sign of an inferiority complex is social withdrawal. Okay, people with an inferiority complex try to withdraw themselves from their peers. Okay, from a group they're normally supposed to socialize with. Okay, you'll see, for instance, somebody who try to withdraw himself from his colleagues' group, work, or maybe school colleagues. And the reason for that is because the person feels like he or she doesn't deserve to mingle with those people, or the person, or if you feel like you're not really at the level of talking with those people, or you feel like you're not good enough actually to socialize with those people, that's already a sign of a social withdrawal, which is a sign of an inferiority complex. Okay. In this case, the person will tend to feel, self-conscious whenever they're around these people. So it's like in their brain, okay, you'll be reminding yourself that, oh my God, I'm not supposed to be here. Or you are constantly telling or asking yourself, what if I say something and then it sounds stupid? So in most cases, you are thinking about the negativity of whatever it could be your action or reaction to whatever could happen as combination. You get me? For instance, you could be asked a question of, what do you think about X topic? Okay, and for you, you're afraid of the opinion that you could share or whatever you're going to say or the way you're going to say it. And due to that self-consciousness of being inferior, of being less valuable, okay, of being not worthy of being part of that team or group, you simply decide to withdraw yourself. Okay, that's already a sign of an inferiority complex. You feel like that group is more superior to you. Okay, and that's something you really need to work on. I personally withdraw myself sometimes, but not for these reasons. Basically, I can withdraw or I withdraw myself from some of my colleagues who sometimes have some jokes that do not really align with my value, for instance. Okay, if you are making some jokes that don't really please me that much, and it happens to be that it's a whole group which is interested in such kind of topics and I don't want to get influenced by such kind of things, I'll rather withdraw myself. Okay, in other occasions, we can still talk. If it's about work, we'll talk, we share ideas and all of that. But when it comes to jokes that do not really align with me or topics that do not really align with my value, I would rather withdraw myself. In some cases, I can be there, but I'll just keep quiet. Okay, because it's not something that really interests me. Okay. The third sign of an inferiority complex, okay, that I can pinpoint is the fact that the person with an inferiority complex constantly compare himself with others. Okay, especially with social media where people can easily share their lives, okay, out there that can be seen by the whole world. People will try to constantly compare themselves. Okay, if you have that feeling of constantly comparing yourself with others, that's already a sign of an inferiority complex. So people compare themselves with others for two reasons. Okay, the first reason is basically for them to track, okay? So they compare to track where the other person is in comparison to themselves. And what is created there, especially if the person is really at a high level, okay, which happens to be the case with social media, okay? The person feels frustrated, pressured first. So you feel the societal pressure, And that societal pressure can lead to frustration, and that frustration sometimes can lead to depression. Okay. So that's the first reason. The person compares himself to the other person to know how far the person is with their lives in comparison to theirs. The second reason why the person could compare himself to others is basically in order for them to pinpoint the flaws within the person who is publicly showing himself. Okay, these are most cases influencers. Okay, at least modern influencers. And so the person will try to investigate even into this person's life in order to know what are the flaws, what are the mistakes that the person has made. And the fact that they will find out or figure out what are the flaws of this person, that will make them feel a bit better, you get, or not less of a person. Why? Because basically seeing the other people's flaw or the other person's flaw make them realize, may allow them to balance. Okay, the balance. Okay, actually, he's not as good as he think. He's not as good as he portray himself, and that makes that person feels better. So if this is a feeling that you have, it's already a sign of an inferiority complex that you really need to work on. Okay, try to avoid comparing yourself with others, and rather compare yourself with the person you used to be a few months ago, a few years ago. Okay. The fourth sign of an inferiority complex is difficulty in accepting compliments. Somebody with an inferiority complex find it extremely difficult to accept compliment, and that's for a simple reason. Basically, they think that they don't really deserve whatever feedback or compliment that they're receiving. Okay, and in some reason, this person can even try to justify it or attribute the credit to a cause or an external cause or factor. For instance, you tell the person you did a great job and they tell you, oh, no, I think it's just a normal thing. I was lucky today. They'll attribute the credit to luck and will not accept the fact that they really did a great job. Okay. You feel like you don't deserve that compliment or that compliment is not really meant for you because you feel inferior. Okay. You don't feel that you're good enough to really have done such a great thing. And it makes it hard for you to accept that compliment. I know for some who are religious, okay, for religious people, humility is something that is taught among religious people, mostly Christians, right? I agree with the fact that you need to be humble when being given compliments or feedback, whatever. But at the same time, don't accommodate the feeling of rejecting compliment or credit when it's being given to you, because basically accepting it contributes to your growth. So learn to accept compliment when it's being given to you. So the last sign, which is the fifth sign of an inferiority complex, is the superiority complex itself. Okay, this is the opposite of an inferiority complex. Basically, somebody who is in superiority complex feels superior to others. Okay, basically they coexist or they overlap through the person they believe is inferior to them. And since I started with this topic, I've been assigning the different behaviors to a specific group of people that portray this behavior. I think it's good to also apply it here. Basically, the people with inferiority complex, at least the majority of the people who show this kind of attitude, are Caucasian people, okay? And this is probably because of multiple reasons, but mostly due to the colonialism, the past they've had, okay, with slavery, colonialism, and all things around it. So basically, they feel superior in comparison to people of different races, okay? And that's actually, for them, it's like a power. It empowers them. After all, this person is less superior to me, and that's few of them. They coexist through that. Okay, I'm not saying that it's all of them. It's just some of them that feel that way. And having a superiority complex is actually a sign of an inferiority complex in the sense of when you feel like the other person is inferior to you, for you to feel better, it means that normally you were not as good as that, but since you believe that the other person is less valuable in comparison to you, that makes you valuable. You get me? So by looking at the reality, it's actually not the truth. For me, I personally believe that we are all equal. You get me? Regardless of the race. Okay, we are all equal. So that's my opinion. Now the big question will be, how can you cure from an inferiority complex? Basically, there are multiple things that you could do or you could consider to cure from an inferiority complex. And some of those could be, for instance, going for a therapist or seeing a therapist could be one of the things. You could also do some meditation, okay? Or you could be writing in the journal how you feel, your feelings, basically expressing your feelings could also help get over that. One of the other things that I would strongly recommend is self-love, because the majority of the thing that or the majority of the behaviors related to inferiority complex are strongly connected to self-love. For instance, when I say that people who do know or feel ashamed of their names, their origins, okay, their skin color, their complexion, okay, this is all involves around self-love. So getting to love yourself could be already a big step toward healing from inferiority complex. And that was all for the video, guys. I'm gonna try to shorten it, of course. Thank you for watching me till here. Hopefully you learn one or two things about this. The next topic would probably be something related to what's happening in Congo. So if that's something that really interests you, let me know in the comment section below and then I can make a video about that. Okay, so for the rest, I'm gonna see you in the next video. Take care of you. Bye bye.